Level 1, the river. You are 3 months old. You cannot ask why your mother weeps over you in the dark, pressing her lips to your forehead and holding her breath each time a soldier passes the door. You only know her warmth. But in Egypt, your existence alone is a crime. Pharaoh has ordered every Hebrew son thrown into the Nile. The river that feeds Egypt is being asked to swallow you. She weaves a basket of papyrus, seals every joint with tar and pitch, and places you inside. She holds you one final moment without saying goodbye. Then she sets you on the water. The current takes you. The reeds hiss. Your sister follows from the bank. You drift until a woman bends over the basket. Gold rings on her wrists, daughter of the man who ordered your death. She lifts the lid. You cry. She feels something shift inside her. She knows what you are. She picks you up anyway. She calls you Moses, drawn out of the water. Your sister steps forward from the reeds. The nurse who comes is your mother. The palace of Egypt pays her to raise her own son. Level 2, the palace. You are 20 years old. You eat at Pharaoh's table. You speak the language of power. You study law, stars, the architecture of empire. Your future is decided, but something you cannot name runs beneath everything like the Nile under a flat morning sky. You walk the construction sites. You watch the men in the quarries. Their backs carry something heavier than stone. You look at them and feel a recognition too deep for logic. These are Hebrews. Somewhere in the part of you that remembers a face before you had words for it, you know you are one of them. You do not say this out loud, but the knowledge settles into your chest and stays. Level 3. The killing. You are 40 years old. You see it happen in the open. An Egyptian overseer, a rod, a Hebrew worker on the ground. Something that has been quiet for 40 years is suddenly not quiet. You look around. You see no one. You act before you think. You bury the Egyptian in the sand. The next day 2 Hebrews are fighting. You try to intervene, and one of them turns on you. Who made you a ruler and judge over us? Are you going to kill me the way you killed the Egyptian? The ground opens under your feet without moving. Someone saw. Within hours, Pharaoh will know. You take nothing. You walk east. You cross the desert with the same river behind you that once carried you in a basket. But this time, no one watches from the bank. You walk until Egypt is gone and the wilderness is everything. You walk until you reach Midian. Level 4, the desert. You are 80 years old. You married. Her name is Zipporah. You had children. You learned the desert like a shepherd must. Every water source, every ridge, every shift in the sky before a storm. You learned patience. You learned what it means to go unnoticed. The man who grew up in the palace of the world's greatest empire now sleeps under open sky with a flock around him. 40 years pass. You have become good at telling yourself the Hebrews in Egypt are not your people anymore. Then near Horeb, the mountain of God, you see a bush on fire that does not burn up. You turn toward it. A voice comes from the flame. It says your name, Moses. Moses. You say, "Here I am." Level 5, the calling. You are 80 years old. Remove your sandals. The ground where you stand is holy. I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I have seen the misery of my people. I have heard them crying out, and I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring them out of Egypt. Your first word is, "Who am I?" You have been practicing disappearing for 40 years. You are very good at it. The answer does not tell you that you are great or gifted. The answer is, "I will be with you." You push back. What if they don't believe me? What if they ask your name? What do I say? I am who I am. Tell them I am sent you. You push back again. I am not a good speaker. And the voice becomes harder. Who made your mouth? Go. I will teach you what to say. You are still afraid, but you pick up your staff and walk toward Egypt. You have been running from that country for 40 years. The walking toward feels like the strangest thing you have ever done. It will not be the strangest for long. Level 6. The plagues. You are 80 years old. Pharaoh looks at you, this old shepherd who left Egypt in disgrace decades ago, and says, "Who is the Lord that I should obey him? I do not know the Lord." The Nile turns to blood. Frogs pour into the beds and into the bread. Gnats rise from the dust. Flies swarm. Livestock die in the fields. Boils break open on human skin so severe that Pharaoh's own magicians cannot stand before you. Hail mixed with fire tears through the crops. Locusts devour what the hail left. Darkness falls for 3 days, a darkness that can be felt like pressure against the skin, while Hebrew homes have light. 10 times Pharaoh says no. 9 plagues pass. 1 remains. The worst. The one that will not be refused. Level 7. The Night of Blood. You are 80 years old. Each household takes a lamb, male, 1-year-old, without defect. At twilight on the 14th day they slaughter it. They put the blood on the door frames. They eat the roasted meat with bitter herbs and unleavened bread, sandals on, staff in hand, ready to move. This is the Passover. That night, at midnight, death moves through Egypt. Every firstborn son, from Pharaoh's house to the prisoner's cell. Not one house is spared. The crying that rises across Egypt is unlike anything you have heard in 80 years. An entire empire weeping at once. Pharaoh calls for you before dawn. His voice is changed. His son is dead. He says, "Go. Take your flocks, your herds, everything. Go and bless me also." 600,000 men walk out of Egypt, women and children beside them, livestock and silver and gold. You walk at the front of the longest column of people you have ever seen. Behind you, Egypt burns with its own grief. You carry the bones of Joseph, because 400 years ago he made Israel swear an oath. When God comes for you, take my bones. You carry the promise of a dead man into the freedom he never saw. Level 8, the crossing. You are 80 years old. Pharaoh changes his mind. 600 chariots, horsemen, soldiers. The army of Egypt moves fast. The Hebrews are camped by the sea with nowhere left to go. The people see the dust cloud and turn on you. Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us here to die? You tell them, stand firm. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. Then God says, raise your staff over the sea. You do. An east wind drives the water back all night. The sea opens. The ground between the walls of water is dry. You walk in first. Then 600,000 people walk across the floor of the sea, water towering on both sides, stars overhead. When the last Hebrew reaches the far shore, you stretch your hand out again. The water comes back. It comes back fast. Not one soldier survives. You stand on the bank and watch the army of the world's greatest empire wash up in the surf. Your sister Miriam takes up a tambourine and the women dance. You open your mouth. You, who said you were slow of speech, who pushed back in front of a burning bush. And the words come. I will sing to the Lord, for he is highly exalted. Both horse and driver he has hurled into the sea. Level 9, the mountain. You are 81 years old. God calls you up Sinai alone. The mountain thunders. Fire and smoke pour from the summit. You climb into the cloud. into the presence of the one who spoke from the bush. You are there 40 days and 40 nights. No bread, no water. You receive the law, the covenant, the commandments cut in stone by the finger of God. When you come down and see what the people built at the bottom, the golden calf, the noise of it carrying up the slope, something breaks open in you into anger and grief at once. You throw the tablets. They shatter at the foot of the mountain. Then you go back up and say, "Forgive their sin, and if not, blot me out of your book." You are willing to be erased from history to save the people you carry. God says no. You descend with the second set of tablets. Your face is glowing with light and people are afraid to come near you. You wear a veil over it. Level 10, the wilderness. You are 100 years old, 40 years, 11 days from Sinai to Canaan. That was the plan. 11 days became 40 years because the spies came back afraid and the people believed the fear more than the promise. God said, none of this generation will see the land. You wander with them. You watch the generation that left Egypt die. You bury your sister Miriam. You help Aaron up Mount Hor. Take the priestly robes off him and place them on his son and hold his hands while he understands what this means, that he will not enter the land either. You come down alone. The people mourn Aaron 30 days. There was a moment at a rock in the desert. God said, "Speak to it." You struck it twice in anger and said, "Must we bring you water?" And it cost you. God said, "Because you did not honor me as holy before them, you will not bring this community into the land. 1,000,000 burials, manna every morning, and you will not see the end of it. But you keep going." Level 11, the mountain. Again, you are 120 years old. The Jordan River is in front of you. You can see the hills of Canaan on the other side. Joshua stands beside you. You lay your hands on him. You transfer what you carried for 40 years. The people look at Joshua the way they once looked at you, and you feel no bitterness, only something close to relief. Close. You speak to the people one final time. Everything, from the Nile to this river, the law and the covenant and the mercy and the cost of breaking it. You tell them, God's word is not too difficult and not too far away. It is not up in heaven. It is in your mouths and in your hearts. Choose life. Then God says, "Go up to Mount Nebo. Look at the land I am giving Israel. You will see it. You will not cross." You climb. Your eyes are not dim. Your strength has not failed. 120 years and you climb a mountain alone the way you once walked out of Egypt, the way you floated down a river before you had words. At the summit, the land opens before you. Gilead, Dan, Naphtali, Ephraim, Manasseh, Judah, the Negev, the Western Sea. Every promise visible at once. There on the mountain, God buries you. No one knows where. The grave has never been found. No monument in the land of your birth, or the land of your wandering, or the land you saw from the summit. Just the silence and the desert, and a tomb that belongs to God alone. But the people you carried are already crossing the river. The water is parting for them. And now you are history.